A Facebook bigwig sparking a really big backlash. COO Sheryl Sandberg, get this, saying employers should be able to ask female workers or even job candidates if they're planning to get pregnant. To Mercedes Colwyn and Hadley Heath on whether this is flat-out discrimination or just good business. Mercedes, first to you.
This is unbelievable. In every state, in every agency, there's anti-discrimination laws. And what they do is they send employers out a list. Employers can call for them. It says these are unlawful inquiries. Asking someone if they're going to get pregnant, asking them if they have children, asking if they have plans for their babies, if they come along, is not lawful. There are laws against it. I'm surprised that she did this. I mean, there's really no justification for it because the fact that a woman's pregnant, the fact that a woman has children, has nothing to do with whether she can do the job or not.
Hadley, what do you make of that, Sheryl Sandberg could be breaking a law?
Right. Well, I think her point was, in her opinion, that shouldn't be the way the law is. And I think, if we take a step back, obviously it's a sensitive issue. We can really see both sides because at the end of the day, this is a business decision about who to hire. And there may be initial costs, especially when a woman is bearing a child, visiting the doctor, taking time off.
How is that a business decision? How is that a business decision? How can you say to a candidate, oh, by the way, you're pregnant, you're going to have children, you're not going to be able to do the job. And by the way, the fact that you may have a baby, you're not going to be as committed. You're not going to be able to do overtime. You're not going to be able to really do everything that I ask of you. How is that possible that an employer, in good faith, with all the anti-discrimination laws, say that? It doesn't pass muster, and those employers that do it, beware. There are lots of plaintiffs' lawyers out there, and they want their money, and they'll collect the cash if that's how you run your business.
Go ahead, Hadley.
Well, let me finish my point. You see, a business decision is deciding, should I hire woman A, woman B, man A, man B? And all of those people present different marketable skills, different levels of education, and different plans for the future. So at the end of the day, when we look at this from a 30,000-foot view, women are gaining economic power. Women are entering the workforce in remarkable numbers. Women are more than 50% of college graduates. And so they do have a lot of value to employers. And I think the important takeaway from this is smart employers will find ways to accommodate those women.
Wait a minute, Hadley, hang on.
Hadley,
I just want to understand. I just want to make it clearer for the viewer what you're saying. Are you saying that already companies are weighing in the balance whether or not the job, their hiree, the person they want to hire, could be getting pregnant, but they're just not saying it? They're not verbalizing it. Is that what you're saying? That it's already going on in the workplace?
That may be the case in many instances. For example, Yahoo hired a new CEO, Marissa Mayer, when she was clearly pregnant, about five or 6 months pregnant. So this is an instance where they said, look, the initial cost of hiring Marissa are going to be worth it given the value that she's going to bring to our corporation.
But the fact that what Sandberg is saying is that, hey, by the way, I think employers should be asking these questions. That's not lawful. You can't make these types of inquiries and make a decision based on that particular question, because what has that to do with whether they can do the job? What has that to do with whether they have the experience, whether they can accomplish whatever the goals are of that particular job? Nothing. But what it is saying is if you are pregnant, having a child, you can't work here. That's discriminatory.
I think that's a choice we should leave to the individual employer. If he believes that a woman who's pregnant is the best person for the job, he's going to hire her regardless. If there's another employer who decides that he doesn't want to deal with the complications of having a woman on staff who's going to be having a baby soon, then that may be a choice that he makes.
There's no legal support for taking that position.
But I think Sheryl Sandberg's point is that she would change the law.
I want to be clear.
If she were in charge.
Is this state law that you're referring to, or federal law, or both?
It could be both, because there's gender laws in federal. It also could be state. And actually, some of the state laws say if you have children, you're protected. There's so many laws that can be implicated by an employer coming forward and making this decision to ask those questions.
So do you think Sheryl Sandberg at Facebook comes out maybe next few weeks or so, maybe tomorrow, and retracts what she's saying?
I'm sure the GC was calling and saying, what are you saying? This isn't lawful. Take back what you said, or at least put a disclaimer, explain it, but you need to do some PR work.
All right, Hadley, go ahead.
Right. Remember, when we're competing for jobs, we're not doing so as team women against team men. This is on an individual basis, and there are some women who are making the choice to dedicate 100% of their energy and their resources towards their career. There are other women who want a better work-life balance, and I think as individuals we ought to be free to negotiate those kind of terms with our employers. It's not something that we should prescribe a one-size-fits-all standard for. In fact, when we do that,
but the employer should not be making those decisions based on that. No, why we make a judgment call? A woman comes in pregnant. I mean, I actually was interviewed pregnant for one of the jobs that I had, and I was hired. I mean, why
Exactly,
wouldn't
that's my point.
But that employer can make that decision, but that's not the fact. What if I came in and wasn't showing? I wasn't showing and I disclosed it. What if I came in and I was pregnant, didn't disclose it, and the employer's going to ask me, by the way,
and what about this, Hadley? You know, I often ask them, are you pregnant? I'm not pregnant. I just need to go on the Tic Tac diet. What about that?
Well, my point is employers, smart employers will look at you according to the skill set that you have to offer, what you have to offer in that particular position. It shouldn't have to do with whether or not you're pregnant, but let's be realistic. Those family decisions of individual staff people do have implications for the rest of the staff and for the firm.
Hang on. Are you saying that state laws and federal laws, if they're out there, should be overturned on this issue? It should be left up to the employer? Final word.
I think that this is a very sensitive issue. Obviously, Sheryl Sandberg's opinion is that those laws should be overturned. I think they're worth a second look because at the end of the day, as I said, pregnancy does incur costs, not just for individuals, but for the firms where they work.
All right, quickly, Mercedes, 5 seconds, you get the final word.
Oh, I mean, unbelievably, if an employer makes these types of decisions and actually says to, I'm going to be asking these questions, they are really skirting the law, they're violating the law, it's problematic, it costs them money.
Sorry about that, Hadley. I was a little tricky there at the end. You've both been terrific, very smart.